All right, guys, here's episode 3. So today we're going to be graphing. Okay, so I'm going to tell you kind of what this looks like on the test and what you should be able to do. So the first thing you should be able to do is identify what the heck you're graphing. So if you look at number 10, because this is a plus sign and you're dividing by numbers in the middle or on the bottom, this is going to be an ellipse. So you need to know what you're drawing because that kind of helps out. Now you're going to have to be able to identify the center. The center of an ellipse is your H and your K. So remember the X goes with the H, the K goes with the Y. Remember to change the signs when you're pulling them out. So your center is at -2, 2. So I'm going to make a dot, a -2, 2. That's your center. So you get a point for that. Then you need to be able to identify your A, B's, and C's. And hey, I should not call this C. I should write out center. Okay, so what is your A value? So your A value is going to be underneath the X. This is your right and left hand movement, and it's the square root of 16, which is 4. So this is how far you move right and left. So I'm going to go right 4 from the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then your B value is underneath the Y. That's your up and down movement. It's the square root of 1, which is 1. So this is your up and down movement. So I'm going to go up 1, and then I'm going to go down 1. And then you're going to go ahead and draw your ellipse. So look, this would give you a lot of the points, but one last thing that you need to find on this is the focal points. Okay, so the formula for this one is that C squared equals, now it's either A squared minus B squared or B squared minus A squared, depending on who's bigger. So since the A is bigger, this is going to be A squared minus B squared. So if I plug that in, I'm going to get C squared equals A squared is 16, B squared is 1, so C squared equals 15, which means that C is the square root of 15. Now, you guys, the square root of 15, I don't have a calculator on me, but it's somewhere close to 4. It's 3 point something. Okay, so on your test, it actually comes out a nice whole number, but I'm just going to go, it's approximately like let's just say like 3.7 or something. I'm just making that up. So I'm going to go 1, 2, here, let me make this bigger, from the center on the major axis, right? It's always on the major axis. So let's highlight the major axis. Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3.7, somewhere right there. There's a focal point, and then from the left, 1, 2, 3.7, somewhere right there. There's a focal point. Now, on the test, there's going to be a place where you're going to have to write out your focal points. So what are your focal points going to be? So the first focal point is going to be, okay, so from the center, because I'm assuming it's 3.7, but I'm not really sure. So this right here, okay, you're at 0, so this is 1, and then this was at 0.7. So it's going to be at 1.7, and then comma, and then you're going up 2. And then your other focal point, okay, if you go this way, this is at -5, and then the 0.7, right, because you went 0.7 over, so like -5.7, and then up 2. Okay, so you're going to have to label what those are. But again, because on the test it's a nice whole number, it should not be an issue. All right, number 11. Let's identify what this guy is. Okay, so this guy is a parabola. How do I know that? I know that because only one of the terms is squared, so parabola. Okay. All right, what are you going to have to label on this? You're going to have to label the vertex. So it's going to have a place for the vertex. So the vertex is your H and K. So remember, the K goes with the Y, and then the H is going to be like all alone by itself, right? So this right here, if I take that K out, it switches signs. The H is 2, so I'm at -3, 2. There's my vertex, okay? Now, which way does this thing open? Well, because the A value here is negative, that means it's going to open to the left because this is X equals parabola. So let's go ahead and plug some points in. And you guys, on this one, on the test, I actually put a little XY chart in for you so you can actually plug some of those points in. So what I like, oh, I messed this up. Look at this. I was making a big point about it, how the H and K flips, and I didn't flip it. Sorry about that. Here, let me fix that. Okay, HK, right? So it's going to be 2, -3. Let's try that again. This is your H and K. All right, so I'm at 2, -3. There's your HK. That's better. It still opens to the left, though. So I'm going to put my vertex in here, my 2, -3. Okay, And then this time I want to plug in values for y. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 2 other y values. So I'm going to pick one above the -3, which is like -2, and then one below the -3, which is like -4. Okay, now you guys, I'm going to have to multiply this by -1/4. If I plug in a -2, I'm not liking that so much, just because -2 plus 3 is 1, and then I have to multiply by 1/4. I'm going to try to think about this a little bit better. Like, what could I plug in here? What could I plug into this y so that when I multiply it by 1/4, it'll come out a whole number? Well, if I multiply 1/4 by 4, that would be nice. So what would this y have to be to make that a 4? How about if we pick... let's see, that would have to be a 2. So if I did like a -1, okay? If I chose y to be -1, -1 plus 3 is 2, 2 squared is 4, and then I've got a nice number. So let's do that instead. I'm just trying to be smart about how I pick these. Okay, so if I pick -1, okay, because I went up 2 to get to -1, I'm going to go down 2 and pick -5 here. Because if I pick -5 in here, -5 plus 3 is again that -2. Okay, so plugging it in, let me work it out for you. It's -1/4 times -1 plus 3 squared plus 2. So this is a -1/4 times -1 plus 3. That's 2 squared plus 2. Then I have -1/4, 2 squared is 4, and then plus 2. And then these cancel, so I'm left with -1 plus 2, which is 1. Okay, so you guys, hopefully you see like why I went and picked those 2 numbers, because they just work out better when you plug it in. So plugging these 2 points, I'm at 1, -1, and then I'm at 1, -5. And notice, remember we said this parabola should open to the left, and indeed it does. So it looks something like that. Horrible parabola, but whatever. Okay, now the other thing you're going to have to find is you're going to have to find the focus and the directrix. So to find that, you need to find that p value. So remember, p equals 1/4a, okay, which is 1/4 times -1/4, which is 1/-1, because these cancel, which is just -1. Now, you guys remember that p is just a distance, so we could just say that it equals 1, okay, because distance is always positive. So from that focal point, I'm going to go 1 to the right, and I'm going to go 1 to the left from the vertex, not the focal point, sorry. The one that's on the inside of the parabola, it's getting hugged. This is your focus. The one on the outside is your directrix, okay? Now look, on your test, you're going to have to answer where is the focus. So the focus is the point 1, -3. And the directrix is the equation of a line. Well, it crosses through the x-axis, so the directrix is the equation x equals 3. All right? Okay, let's look at number 11. Okay, this guy is in the form of a circle. I'm not dividing by anything. So this should be one of your easy ones. Sorry, guys, my sinuses are going crazy. So the center of this circle is HK, which is at 3, -4. So I'm going to go over 3 and down 4. There's my center. And then the radius, remember the radius squared is 25. So that means the radius is just the square root of that, which is 5. So I'm going to go out 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then to the best of your ability, just draw that circle in. All right? And there's not much that I really care about the circle, just the center and the radius. All right, now this guy, because there's a minus sign in between, this is a hyperbola. Okay, so here's what I need for the hyperbola. I need the center. That's your HK. Okay, you guys remember the K goes with the Y, the H goes with the X. So this is actually going to be 0, 1. So my center is right here at 0, 1. Then I need the A, B, and C value. So the A value is the number underneath the X. So the A is going to be 5. And this is your right and left hand movement because it's under the X. So I'm going to go right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then my B value is underneath the y, so that's going to be the square root of 4, which is 2. That's your up and down movement. So I'm going to go up 2 and then down 2. Now remember, for a hyperbola, we're not connecting these dots, we're making a rectangle out of them, right? So here's my little rectangle. And then we're going to do those asymptotes where we're going to connect the corners. Yikes. Sorry, I was trying to twist my iPad. Didn't really work very well. Oh my gosh. Whatever, that's good enough. Now, is this going to be an up and down hyperbola or a sideways hyperbola? Well, let's take a look. So because the y went first, remember a y looks like this, so it's going to be an up and down. So it has to connect to these vertices, so it's going to look something like this. Okay, now one more thing. We need to find the focus. So the way to find the focus, we need that c value. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared. It's just the Pythagorean theorem for the hyperbola. So plugging this in, we're going to get c squared equals. So a squared was that 25. The b squared was the 4. So c squared equals the square root of 29. And you guys, that's approximately like, I don't know, I'm just going to go with like 5.2 or something like that. Okay, so how do we get this one? What we're going to do is we're going to go from the center and we're going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, somewhere right there is my focal point. Okay, and then we're going to go down 5 from the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 point, something like that. Okay, so those are my 2 focal points. If I want to write the actual values of these, so the focus is going to be at the x value 0, the y value is like 6.2 or something like that. And then the other focal point is going to be at 0, like negative 4.2 or something like that. Okay, I don't really know if it's 5.2. You guys, I just kind of made that up, whatever square root of 29 is. Okay. All right, and I think that's it for that. You guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and tomorrow for Thanksgiving, we'll do these 4, okay? And then on Friday, we'll finish the rest. All right, I hope you're having a good vacation. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.